Hello everyone. So you're not seeing it wrongly. I did close all my longs yesterday. I didn't um I am not closing it pre-market, and I did short SK Hynix, but it looks like it's gonna stop me out at the open. There's a shortcut to do a screener while you're looking at charts. So it's side by side. Click the bullseye at the right bottom corner of the screen. Ooh, yeah, that looks pretty cool. But yeah, maybe it's easier to navigate. I'll try it out and see which one is better. I mean, yesterday after I ended the stream, I then go through the watch list again, and I just saw a lot of breakdowns and pretty weak actions, such as the software names. Yesterday IGV is breaking lower, and a lot of the names are also breaking down pretty badly. We got Reddit. We got also a gap down from, is that Path? Yeah, Path maybe the one, and Roblox definitely the one of the weakest name right now, and Zoom also break down from the declining EMAs. That actually is a could be a short entry on Tuesday. Uh, yeah. Also the fintech names or the SoFi firm is also going lower, and apart from that, a lot of the semi names are also actually not looking good at all. Uh, I think also some leaders like BE is getting rejected at a declining 9 and cannot, like, this bounce is really weak. It's just not convincing, not powerful enough to to convince me this is the end of this downtrend, and we're gonna like make a higher high from here. It just doesn't look right. You can see lots of the names, either they are below the 9 EMA, either they rallying into the maybe the declining 21 or the 50, and only a small number of leaders, but yeah, just small amount, and the number is keeps decreasing. So yeah, not really a fan of and also I got stopped out from the long positions like the Rivian and Hood as well, I think. But although Hood is not really a really decent entry, I think, looking back. But yeah, it did get rejected on a declining 9. Now it's staying below the 21 EMA. And the cybersecurity names is Crowd and Fortinet is losing the 21 EMA. And cryptos, I don't know. It could be a pullback short actually. It didn't it cannot get past from this weekly 9 EMA and like have a really strong breakout like what they did like back in 2023, something like this, or maybe something like this. Like, I really want the bounce to be quick and strong, and rather than like doing something like this. And this, if you're hanging around near the like declining 50 EMA, that's not good. And it seems like it's doing something similar to what he has done. Maybe, yeah, back in early 2026 in January, it just looks pretty weak. So I didn't wait for for it to stop me out, and then I just closed it. I just closed all of them. Now we're getting a gap down on all the indices, and spikes at the 50 EMA. IWM is also near the 50 EMA. I assume there will be a bounce. It should find support at the near this support level. Hey guys, are you enjoying it? I mean, I think this is one of the craziest day that yeah, it's the craziest day in the past few weeks or even months. Uh, yep, just stopped out again. Never mind. So I get a tons of losing trades today, and I think I kind of deserve that because I really trying to pick the turning point. I don't want to miss the reversal, and 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 the interesting thing is, although it keeps stops me out, but at the same time it's not going anywhere after stopping me out. The price shoots higher and then comes back, shoots higher, stops me out, and then comes back. It just not going anywhere just yet, and unfortunately, just a moment. Yeah, unfortunately, I got stopped out too many times in the earlier part of the day, so I run out of buying power that I cannot short the crypto names and also this wolf, and yeah, if I if I'm able to short it, I would definitely also take the either MicroStrategy coin or this TerraWolf, and we'll see. MU is rallying into the anchor VWAP from the all-time highs. Can I short this thing? I think I can. Let's see whether we will find some rejection on the anchor VWAP from the swing high. I think I could skip this one, but I don't know. It looks like a breakout on an inside day, and I think the better it looks on the long side, I think actually the better it is on the short side. If it really fails and then rolling over, a lot of the buyers will get stopped out. I think it's actually good for the short side, and it will become a classic failed breakout. I think a overshoot on this anchor VWAP will be a good scenario for the short side, but probably I will also get stopped out from SNDK. I mean, MU can definitely break out and follow through to the upside. So trade what you see. Like if it keeps going higher and not showing weakness, they're definitely not gonna short it on the way up. Although I'm like shorting heavily on the semi names, one thing that not I don't quite like is the relative strength on the semi sector today compared to the market. The semi names looks pretty strong today. Man, I really wish I've shorted this SpaceX. Just like I think it's going down for like consecutive 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, this one is an up day. I remember try shorting it on this day, but I didn't take it on Monday or the next day, and then it keeps going lower. And yeah, it's a good parabolic short back in after the IPO. We were very extended from the even on the 16-minute chart, 17% above the 16-minute 9 EMA. Like 17% above the 9 EMA is already like considered as a very extended, even on a daily chart. And and it is a 60-minute chart. And yeah, also with the range expansion, like it's going get a gap up and then went higher for another 12%. It is trading at like 2. What it's trading at 3 trillion back then. I mean, that was the gift. That was a gift by the market god that I that refused to accept it. You talk about your light shot today. We'll take into account the stock's relative strength on the day. Light is looks like it's breaking out. I mean, it definitely breaks out from the previous day high and opens above the entropy web from the swing high. And I think I would consider this looks very strong when I was trading like maybe like 2 or 3 years ago. And then back then I would even like trying to buy this thing. I was trying to like play it on the long side. I try to like maybe enter it on the, I don't know, opening range highs or even the breakouts on the previous day high. Because it looks like it's getting relative strength. It could be the leader of the if the market improves, like if the semis ETF breakout and from this range and then into the upper part of the base, that maybe lights could be the next leader. But I think 90% of the time, or I'm not sure. I think actually it's like 100% of the time I got stopped out, and then gradually I started to realize what was actually happening. What have I done wrong? And I think I think the major reason that I would consider shorting lights today is the first thing is definitely the sector. So always look at the big picture. Like the semis ETF and the market looks weak. They're really weak. Below the EMAs, we got to pull back into the declining EMAs, and the semi also, the sector is below the 9 EMA and the 21 light. Despite the fact that it's actually having a really strong bounce in the past few days. So actually since last Friday, the bounce is much more stronger than the sector ETF or the Qs itself. But light, if you look back like a few months ago, like light has actually has made the first lower highs in early June and topped in mid-May. So if we like zooming out for the medium term in the past maybe 2 or 3 months, light is actually a laggard. It's actually like going sideways or even like drifting lower for the past 3 months. So when the market is weak, the sector is weak, although it's getting a short-term strength, although it is strength, but it's actually still bouncing into the previous highs, that the resistance level, maybe not a level like this range, which have a lot of selling pressure. You can see you can tell by the red candles and the reversals that it got within this range. I remember one example will be Open. I think Open is also generally when a stock really starts to make the first lower highs and then it looks like it's drifting sideways. It's like building a base, and looks like it's gonna break out into the upside. Maybe if you can see the open, I think this bounce is pretty solid, right? Like it's getting a huge undercut and rally up, above all the EMAs. But it's actually also rallying into the previous highs, or I mean the high of the red candles, the distribution day, the level that it got rejected in the left part of the base, and this is like November 2025. So yeah, if you pull up the Qs, actually the open has made the first lower highs back in the early October and actually topped in the mid September, while Qs is still making higher highs in higher lows into higher lows, higher highs into higher lows. Yeah, whatever. Still in a pretty strong uptrend, but open is like making lower highs and lower lows and gradually losing the 9 and the 21 EMA. Like the 9 is below the 21. Like definitely you can see in this period. And also one thing to notice is it open has made like a 1,700% move in the previous like 2 months from July to September. And this is also like you can consider it as a bull off top. And then we got a sideways action. So we got a strong bounce on these few days. While the Qs is like definitely compared to open, the bounce is definitely not that strong compared to open. But open gradually lost the 9 and eventually the 21 and even the 50 EMA, and then continues building the lower highs and it's never coming back. And I think this bounce is also one of the really tricky one. I think some trader will buy on this candle, maybe consider it as an EP or whatever. Like I think like open is breaking out from this range or like this downtrend, and it looks like it's getting some relative strength compared to the market, compared to the Qs in early January. And one thing to notice is open, we got the 9 EMA below, maybe like it's slightly above the 21 and 21 below the 50, and the 50 is like staying flat or gradually it's actually turning low. It turned lower. It's actually starting to decline in before this bounce. So while the Qs, all the EMAs are still very intact and are trending higher. And this type of bounce, like it looks like it's clearing all the resistance and going back into the high grounds, but actually it didn't. Maybe it's just a dead cat bounce. I don't know. Are there any how do they call this type of patterns or anything like that? But yeah, they're the tricky bounce, and I think we're getting a similar situation. Also, we got a huge rally, although not that explosive compared to open, but we got a light topped before the market topped, and from the first lower highs, and then eventually loses all the EMAs, the 50 EMAs starting to trend lower, and the 9 below the 21, 21 below the 50, and we then get looks like a pretty solid bounce into the upside. Relative strength compared to the Qs, but yeah, is it really that strong? I don't know. But actually, I mean, if you're shorting anything today, most of the time it's probably gonna work. Like no matter you're shorting light or you're shorting AMD today, that they're all fading. So I think the timing also is also pretty important. But yeah, I think the reason why I choose light is definitely because I mean, I don't know, it just is, this rally is definitely is not convincing, and this sector also looks pretty dangerous. Uh, it's a little bit tricky. So I mean, you don't really need to trade this type of like a fake out or like a dead cat bounce or anything, but you can simply take it as a lesson that at least not going long on this thing, like right here on this type of bounce. Like don't get too excited or get tricked. SNTK is really strong today. Interesting. Shorting MSTL works pretty well. For me today, as coins are showing weakness. Yesterday as well. I think I'm gonna, I don't know. I mean, a few weeks later when I look back, like like if MSTL or like coin is breaking down from this range, and I don't know, MSTL could go to like below 70 or even 60. It's just that the coins looks like it's getting rejected at the 9 EMA weekly chart. Have huge potential to the downside. Isn't open January move exactly the same as Cypher today? Um, I think there's some major differences. The first one is that like Cypher is doesn't have enough sideways action before this bounce. Like it's just going like 60-degree down, a really clean downtrend. But compared to, I think it's something. Yeah, this type of actions looks actually more similar to open compared to this, and the EMA's not really that bearish. The 9 is above the 50, the 21 is above the 50, but I think definitely, I mean, the pattern itself is not really the most important thing. Really, I think the one we would like to focus on is what will, I mean, how Cypher could hold up. How well could it hold up when the market is starting to go lower? And if Cypher managed to hold above all the EMAs, or at least like this is showing relative strength, like is the market, such as the market made a lower low, but Cypher like keeps making higher lows. And in this case, yeah, I think Cypher will actually be a good candidate for the long side if the after the market starts to improve. But if on the other hand, like if Cypher lost the 9 EMA or even the 50 EMA very quickly, maybe like tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, we have two huge red candles followed after the day, then this is definitely not a good action, and I would even consider this would be a really bearish sign, like a fake, like a real dead cat bounce and a bull trap. And Mara 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 is an odd shot. Can we elaborate on that? Mara, I think it's actually pretty standard, like an ordinary short, like a pullback into the 50 EMA, and all the EMAs are close to each other. Also at the weekly 50 and then 9 EMA too, and the 9 is below the 50, 21 below the 50. Is it at the angle fill up from the swing high? Yeah, it's also at the angle fill up from the swing high too. And so it's actually a pretty standard shot. What is your profit target on light short? Do you think we should target new lows or cover shorts before the previous low. Wow, I think this is it's really hard to tell. Given how weak today's actions so far, I think a huge damage has been done to the market breadth. So the software names are getting destroyed. Semi names is kind of holding up, but I really think they're it's still not like looking that good right now. And yeah, it looks like it's starting to roll over. And all the other the tech names, the speculative sectors, the space, the I mean the quantum's already like I don't know already in the middle of the downtrend, like it started. Where are the quantum names? Yeah, they're gone, and then nuclear names gone. The electricity names, like the power generators, BEV, also looks pretty weak. And yeah, and also in the semi sectors, already there are lots of the laggards breaking lower. Like all of the names, like I don't know, optics, memory names, or even the large caps. Are they the fabrics name? I don't know. I just don't see anything that looks attractive and that could lead to the next uptrend to me right now. Actually, I am a little bit bearish on the market that it could be a pretty huge pullback, a pretty huge correction, maybe into the weekly 50 EMA. So it's only like a 15% correction on the Qs. Like it's very possible. It's definitely still a little too early to tell whether we'll get a bear market or not. I don't really like the sharp decline in the market breadth, especially in the speculative fields. Like the speculative money is gone. It's definitely still very early to tell whether we're getting a bear market or not, but things are not looking good. It looks a little bit worse than I expected. How about the software names? Yeah, I think it could be, and maybe I don't know. Not really that attractive to me. Although they are pulling back into the weekly 9 EMA, but I don't really like how they like the range starting to expand, like the volatility is starting to pick up on near the highs, and like if you look at MU or like SNDK, even when they're like going sideways or having a pullback into the weekly 9 EMA, we won't get much of volatility expansion near the highs. We can get something like a really one huge candles into the downside, but gradually the volatility is starting to come back, to go lower, and then setting up into another uptrend. Here is maybe you can argue this is also a little bit of volatility expansion. Yeah, I agree, but I don't know. I'm just a little bit skeptical on this one. If we're going into in a clear downtrend, how do you trade a short? Is it still pullback short? Most likely. And why not? And I think really shorting into the bounces really gives you the highest win rate and also the highest potential risk reward too. I think as long as you can like really manage your risk, you'll be okay. And so shorting into the pullbacks generally helps you to like really stay with the same pace where stay on the same pace with the market. What level on StockX will decide to the short should be closed? I have no idea on this one. I think I would try to trail it a little bit longer, but definitely it depends. The plan could change any time. I'm curious of your thoughts on stock beast market monitor. I think could definitely improve situational awareness. I, I really don't know much. Yeah, I'm not familiar with that, so no opinion on that. I'm really not liking the strength of SNTK and MU today. They're holding up very well. AMD looks really good on both the daily and weekly after today's pullback. What would change your mind to continue being bullish on the market? That's a really good question. I really don't have a solid answer for that. First, I want to see like the increase in the market breadth. At least more stock is showing strength, um, showing the potential leadership. Second, maybe I want to see some follow throughs into the upside after the breakout or after the reversals. Want to see some follow throughs. And the third, maybe a positive trade feedbacks from the longs. That's all I can think of at the moment, and it's sometimes really, I don't know. It's really hard to answer this question. I think, or maybe at least the market, the Qs needs to like get above the declining nine first. I think this is also pretty important too. Yeah, so I think this is the end of today's stream. Thank you guys for coming, and we will see you in the next one.